Okay. So now, number 2 says, how can I deal with this kind of fear? Because we've never seen the kind of things that we're seeing now. I do have faith in God, but I also have fear. Does that mean that my faith's not working because I'm fearful? But I just have never seen any of this before. And these are the kind of things that I'm hearing. So I'm bringing this to you. How do you know that you have fear, but you know that you also have faith in God? How do you deal with the two of them?
Okay, you are experiencing, I'm going to say, some level of fear. I may say I would prefer the word concern.
Concern.
More so than fear, because fear takes my thoughts one way, concern takes my thoughts another way. So I would say that as saints, as God's people, we're going to have some concern. We have seen Christians who have been afflicted with this, and some have passed away.
That's right.
So, and it's not because they didn't really think anything could happen to them, but they simply weren't safe. Now, that being said, we can be safe and yet trust God.
Okay.
Okay, we can be safe and yet trust God for our protection, for our covering. Even I'll go as far as to say, even if we get the virus, we still have to continue to trust God.
Amen.
Okay, we still got to continue to trust Him, even if we get the virus through contact with somebody or somehow. We still have to trust God. So, and I would say, and this is just according to statistics, that the social distancing is one thing that the CDC has come up that proves probably to be the most effective.
It is.
Maintaining that distance probably proves to be the most effective. So, knowledge is power.
It really is.
Knowledge is power.
It really is.
And maybe all knowledge is not from God, but some knowledge can help you, even though it's not from God.
Right.
And the knowledge of social distancing and, keeping your distance, a lot of people don't like to wear the mask. They're not fond of wearing a mask. But, the mask also helps.
Yes, it does.
It helps.
Yes,
So
it does.
there are some guidelines that have been put out there that if, people would adhere to those guidelines, I think we would see less positive cases.
Yeah.
If more people would adhere to those guidelines. I mean, as look at what's happened since, different states have opened up their economies.
Yes, exactly.
And they've opened up the beaches, and they've opened up restaurants, and all of these places where people can gather in groups of 250 and sometimes even more. And they're not social distancing.
That's right.
I watched some of the protesters from the murder. I'm gonna just call it what it was, from the murder of George Floyd and all the protests that came behind that. As I watched some of that, I saw a lot of people not wearing masks.
Right. And not keeping distance as well.
And not keeping the distance. And, you've seen there are increases.
Yes.
There are more
there
positive cases that have been discovered. So, if I think the guidelines, the mask and the social distancing, those things work. Keeping your hands clean, not touching your mouth or your face, all of those things help to limit the spread of this virus. So, and I believe God has given some knowledge concerning this thing until there is a vaccine. Yeah. We don't know when they're going to have a vaccine for this. We just know that they're working on it.
I'd just like to say thank you to Pastor Bush for all the valuable information that you gave us. And I even gathered some things. And thank you for encouraging people in their faith and to remember that God is always in control. And keep that atmosphere in your home. When you hear somebody talking and they're worried, I heard this, I heard that, bring them back into the faith realm, reinforce that God is always in control, and keep the center there. Once again, you always want to be your best you, but you know, when you have the right information, it's a lot easier. So remember, you can be your best you when you're at your best. Always be your best you.